Hi, yeah. So, my name's Stephanie, and that's Jessica.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, I'm Jessica.
Hi.
And we are on a show called The Emo Diaries on a community radio station in Austin. And so yeah, this is like a really exciting thing to have you, talk to us. So thank you.
Of course.
Um, but we are, very much looking forward to the show in a couple of weeks. And do you have like any time off around there? Do you get to like hang out in Austin at all?
What's actually interesting is we have 2 days off between Tucson and Austin. So a lot of that is going to be driving,
Hmm.
but we will, I think, have probably a full day in Austin before we get there,
Nice.
which is really exciting because it's such a great city, a place that kind of took us in as like kind of made us feel like one of your own, like kind of at an early part in our band's trajectory. So it always feels special going back, and we got a lot of great friends there and stuff. And also, when you tour this time of year and you have probably nice weather, that always is like great recipe for a day off because like you don't want to see what it looks like out here today.
Oh
It
yeah,
is
no.
it is like snowy but rainy but wet and cold. It is not the best.
Yeah, no, that sounds gross. It's like been very warm here the last like earlier this week, I was at a restaurant on the patio in shorts and short sleeves. Like it's crazy.
Nice. Love it.
Um, but yeah, I was just wondering, like, is there anything when you do come to Austin that is always something like, oh, I gotta hit this place or I gotta eat this specific food because, we have a lot of food. Is there anything that you ever are just like, I have to do that when I'm in Austin?
Pretty much just Taco Cabana.
Okay.
That's like whenever I find myself in Texas, I always like Google where the nearest Taco Cabana is because I don't
It's
know
not
why. I
far.
know I know Texans are like, what? It's not like special or whatever, but I tell you, they have the best flour tortillas like ever.
They are
They
good.
are bang. They're really good. So I really like Taco Cabana. That's my main thing. I don't know, Austin, there's a lot of like cool stuff. We used to play down on like 6th Street and there's like all those like little shops and bars and stuff, and that was like a good time. But since the emos has moved, we don't find ourselves down there all that much anymore.
Hmm.
So I don't know. I haven't been down there in a while, but yeah, I mean, it's an amazing food city, and there's that area where you have like all the food trucks and stuff is super cool in Austin too. So I don't know. It's not a boring place. I'll say
Yeah.
that. It's like there's always stuff going on, and I don't know. It's always a good vibe.
I was gonna say you're playing at Radio East, which is like one of my favorite spots, and they have a taco truck there called Veracruz. So you should probably give that a try just while you're there.
Okay,
But there's a Taco Cabana not that far also, if you
that
want.
works. Sure.
Try both. Why not?
Yeah.
Heck,
Yeah.
go to HEB and try one of their tortillas and be prepared to be amazed.
Yeah.
Okay.
They are
Well,
legendary.
about 5 years ago, we were in Austin and we were playing at Emos. I think we were playing with August Burns Red. So I decided to rent one of those like Lime scooters, you
Hmm.
know, and head down to like down to 6th Street, whatever that area is called.
Yeah.
And so I went down there and I met some friends, and like it's a bit of a crazy scooter ride. You got to go like around the like river, like on the
Hmm.
banks of the river and stuff. It's like kind of wild. So I'm there hanging out until like whenever the bars closed, and I had to come back to the bus. So instead of taking a an Uber or something, I took the scooter back, and I I crashed it and I broke my arm.
Oh my God.
Oh,
So yeah, that's the short version of the story. And yeah, so that's a not great memory of Austin that I have, but it's all back. It's back to normal now. See, I can do this.
Okay.
But yeah, I kind of forgot that happened in Austin, and then I went back. I pulled myself off the ground and was like, "Uh-oh, my arm's fucked," and somehow rode it back to the bus. And I got back, everybody was sleeping, and I'm like, "Oh man!" So, you know. I'm like kind of drunk and just dumb in general. So I think I put a bag of peas on it and was like, "Oh, it'll be fine." And the next day we woke up, we were in Houston, and I was like, "Yeah, I think my arm is broken." And I went to the doctor, and they're like, "Yep, we can confirm that it is broken."
Oh no.
Uh, and yeah, and then I went to Canada for healthcare, but that's another conversation.
Yeah.
But it all worked out. But yeah, that's one not so great memory of Austin with about like I'd say 10 or 20 really good memories.
Oh, good, good. I was actually I was looking earlier because the last time I think it was the last time you were in Austin. You might have been since then, but it was I think 2022 or 2023. You played at Mohawk
Yeah.
on Red River, and I don't know how or if you would possibly remember this, but there was a Taylor Swift drag show going on at this bar called Cheer Up Charlie's next to where you guys were playing.
I do not
And
recall.
they were doing like an Eras tour kind of thing. And I remember you had said something about it being like the show that you were playing then was like kind of a like you were talking about your different eras and everything. And
Uh,
from what I've seen, for the tour that you're on right now, 25 Years of Noise, that's kind of like your Eras tour, right? Are
it
you
is, yeah.
just can you tell me a little bit about the plan for this tour and how it came about?
Yeah, well, we've been a band a long time and we've done a lot of different, types of shows like headlining, and a lot of times it either is, kind of like a regular greatest hit set where you put together, you know, kind of the best of from all your records, and then sometimes, maybe a little bit of a focus on whatever, the new album is. That's like typical of what most bands do. And then we've done a few shows over the last 10 years that have been album plays, right? Like we played
Mhm.
Discovering the Waterfront in full, and we did When Broken is Easily Fixed in full, and we did This Is How the Wind Shifts in full. So when we run into something where it's a 25-year anniversary tour and we've done all this already, it's really difficult to find out what the best thing to do is, both from like what's a great show to put on, and also like what the messaging is to the fans to be like, hey, this is what we're doing, this is why it's cool, and this is why you should come, you know? And when you do as much stuff as we've done already, it's difficult to figure that part out. So, what we decided to do, and it took a lot of discussion, a lot of back and forth, was we decided to do the set covering at least one song from every album,
Okay.
and we decided to do it in reverse chronological order.
Okay.
So I say on stage, it's like a motherfucking emo time machine. So you might have to bleep that out if it's a radio show. Sorry about that.
It's all
But
right.
uh but yeah, and basically it is. We start with the latest stuff from our, Pink Moon and Anti Bloom, the records we put out this year. And then we work our way backwards in time, and then we close the set with our song Bleeds No More, which is you know, from 2002. A song that I wrote like, before the band was signed or anything. So, yeah, so it's cool because we kind of give everybody a taste of all the albums, and we also have a really great video. We have some video screens and some different stuff going on visually that kind of goes along with it. So, we play a few video clips from our history, like when we had a guy sing our song on American Idol, when I am playing acoustic guitar in the streets of Toronto and we recorded it for our album, I'm Alive and Everything I Touch, etc. So things like that. And I haven't seen the Taylor Swift Eras tour because I'm not a millionaire, but you know, I don't know if she does anything like that, but I mean, I guess it's probably the right thing to do for an artist that's been around for a long time, to touch on all the different things that you've done, celebrate them all. And then, for us having two albums this year, we'd love to play more new stuff, but I think probably there'll be more of a time for that maybe next year or something like that. No plans yet, but right now I think we just wanted really to do right by this milestone, and just really have a big celebration for all of our fans, whether they just found out about us last week or like over 20 years ago.
Yeah. You have 11 albums or 12 albums now?
I've kind of lost count.
Okay. Um,
Um, yeah, because it's weird because short songs, like, even though it's 22 songs, it's sometimes people don't count that as an album because it's half covers. And then this year we put out two albums, but we recorded them together, so it was kind of like one session. So
okay.
I don't really know, but um can we just say that we have a shitload?
That works for me.
Yeah, okay. Sorry,
Quantifiable. Yep.
another
Um,
bleed. Sorry.
how did
Sorry,
you,
guys. Sorry to your editor.
it's okay. How did you decide, what songs from each album that you wanted to touch on? Did you go with like just the singles, or did you put like some deeper cuts that mean a lot to fans, or anything like that?
Well, we had a vote actually. So before the tour started, we put up we put it up on our website. Hey, we're going to be playing. This is when I would talk about like the messaging. We said like, hey, we're celebrating 25 years, and we are playing at least one song from every album. So we didn't give away that it's reverse chronological order. In fact, I haven't even said that in an interview before, but people probably know by now.
Yeah.
Um, but uh but yeah, we said we'd play at least one song from every album. So then we opened up a voting like portal on the internet, and people could go on and vote for which song from the album is their favorite.
Okay.
So we played all those.
Nice.
And there was a couple surprises. Like, I think from Arrivals and Departures, the song "My Disaster" won, which was like a bit of a surprise. Right there, I should pull that out so fast.
I was gonna say, I know that there have been some not so kind things about this album, so I was like, I don't know what they're gonna play.
Yeah, well, that's really amazing. You had it just ready, but yeah. So we played. So we were playing "My Disaster" on the first. Well, this is the fifth leg of the tour technically. So on the first four legs of the tour, we played "My Disaster." And yeah, and we had a bunch of songs. I think um what's the first song? Midwestern State of Emergency from I Am Alive was the song we were playing. So we honored the vote and we played those songs, and that for the rest of it, excuse me, I just had a sip of Diet Coke and now I have to burp.
It's okay.
Um, and for the rest of it, we filled it in with the songs that we thought, were the ones like we couldn't skip. Like for Discovering the Waterfront, like I think it was probably My Heroine that won. So we're like, well, we still got to play Smile in Your Sleep, and Your Sword versus My Dagger. And so, so we kind of filled it in with the stuff that we wanted to. And a couple of like deep cuts, but what's been kind of cool is now that it's evolved, the set has evolved for this leg of the tour. We've switched it up quite a bit, and
Okay.
we've brought in some other songs. So My Disaster has now we've replaced it with a different song from Arrivals and Departures, and we're playing a song called Je me souviens from I Am Alive and Everything I Touch. I don't know why I keep talking about those two albums so much. Which is a fan favorite, and a song we've never played live before, even though the song came out 10 years ago. We've never played it live. So it's cool, to do some stuff that people that come out and see us every time, some people travel to see us, something that they won't expect. And I think that keeps it fun for us too, to keep people on their toes. But we still play the hits.
Yeah, for sure. Um, I mean, that kind of leads me to another question I was thinking of, but after being together for 25 years and being on the road and having, so many albums, do you still find it, just as exciting to go out there and play these shows?
Oh yeah, I mean, more so than ever. I think it's funny because the old term, um youth is wasted on the young. I think that like definitely applies when you're like this young band. And I mean we had 2 years we spent in our van playing, till like a lot of shows with like there were shows with like 10 people. I mean, we did that, but then once our popularity, happened and all of a sudden we found ourselves playing to thousands, it's like I don't know, it's funny. I look back and I go, wow, we were so young and naive and we didn't really realize the like magnitude of what we were doing, and now that I guess we're all in our 40s now, aren't we? Yeah, because Billy's 40. So, well, Paul Mark's still in his 30s. But he's the new guy that's been in our band for like, I don't know, 13 years. But now that my point is now that we're older, I think we have a maturity and we appreciate it maybe a little bit more, and it's not lost on us how special this is that we get to do this, that we've gotten to do this for this long and at this level. And like every night is a treat for us. Every night is a gift. And um, man, this tour so far, like I don't want to jinx it because it's just been so great. We're just like 7 shows in. Um, we did a couple shows in Ohio and went up. Now we're going across Western Canada, and it's like the shows have been so good, and we're having such a blast. Everyone's in a great mood, even despite the weather. And yeah, it's just been amazing. So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think you really start to appreciate things like that when you get a little bit older.
Yeah. Have you been having a good time with, your touring partners like Thursday and Free Throw and all them?
Yeah, everybody's really cool. Thursday is a band that we've, I mean, we've literally wanted to tour with since like we practically we started the band, because they were like I always feel like they were sort of our older brothers a little bit in the scene because they came out like a couple years before us. They had that big success and they were on the same label as us. So we always looked up to them, and we never toured with them, like other than a few festivals here and there. So to be able to have them on this tour, they started back in January on the first leg of the tour, and we had them back for this one. So they've been awesome. Free Throw is just like such a cool band, such great guys, and Bloom's a really special one too because we had them out in Europe. They're from Australia. We had them on our European leg. I didn't know anything about them, but we put them on because we were having trouble finding a band, and Paul sent it over and I was like, oh, this kind of rocks. I like this. Let's put these guys on. I just heard a couple songs, and then once we were there and watching them play every night, we were like, oh my God, this band is sick. And they're such nice guys. So when we were looking for a band for this one, we're like, we're having a little bit of trouble. Sometimes it's hard to find bands, availability and whatever.
Yeah.
And I just said, like, can we just get Bloom back? Like, can we just get them to do this leg? And they jumped at the chance, and here they are. I think it's only their second American tour, so they're having a blast. They freaking love American sports and stuff. Like the singer is obsessed with the Oklahoma City Thunder NBA team. He has an Oklahoma City Thunder tattoo.
That's so random.
Wow.
So yeah, he's obsessed with it. Is so random, like Australian guy loving that team so much, but he does, and yeah, so they're great. Everybody's great. It's a great vibe, and yeah, we really couldn't be happier with how everything's going.
That's awesome. Um, I did have just like one other question I think I haven't asked yet. If you want to ask something, Jessica, but I wanted to ask you because I dug this out. It's a Victory Records sampler from 2004.
Oh, cool.
That you guys are number 3 on there, if it'll
I
focus.
can't see what song it is.
It's Smashed into Pieces.
Okay.
And I
Yeah.
think I think this was my first exposure to you guys from these
Yeah.
samplers. And they used to be like such a like the best way to discover new music. And obviously like a lot has changed in 20 years. Like Spotify literally exists. So like I don't know how people are really like finding new music and stuff anymore, but do you ever kind of just miss the era of like these samplers and just like the
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the samplers were really special, and it was a really good idea. It was amazing marketing because, you know, most people were used to like a CD held a certain amount of value. You know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
you went to the store and you bought a CD and like it cost money and like you spent your allowance on that, you know? And
Yeah.
then and music wasn't free, you know? And this was like a physical thing that you were given. So, Victory would print off these sampler CDs and we would give them out. When we were playing like our first Warp Tour, you know, we'd walk around and like pass them out and stuff. And like every time you'd pass out a CD, like people would be like, "Oh, this is cool." Like this is awesome. Like I get a free CD. So it felt a lot more special than just giving someone like a piece of paper with like a URL on it and like,
Yeah.
oh, check out our
Yeah.
band, or whatever. So it was really cool to see people get these CDs and like, and discover this new music. And of course, like that one, I don't know, was it Hawthorne Heights was the first one on that one?
Yeah.
Because I remember most of them, but I don't remember what the actual CD looked like. Like usually, I remember the covers. But yeah, like so Hawthorne Heights would be passing them out, and we would, and Bayside, and Aiden, and all the bands we were all on the label, and it really worked just to get so many people to find out about our band, and then go buy the real CD at the store, or come to a show, or follow us on MySpace or whatever. So
Yeah.
that was really cool. And I think nowadays the way that things is marketed is like it's way less deliberate, I guess, for lack of a better word. Like you you have to try to beat an algorithm, so that when a Silverstein song plays, then the next song after will be a Bloom song, right?
Yeah.
That's what you want to have happen on Spotify or whatever. But of course, it's not that easy, And I don't know, it's a lot more confusing and difficult and annoying, and there's less of it doesn't feel as personal as when someone like hands you a thing that you now own that's, you know, you look at it and and you're actively, listening to something rather than just like, oh, this just like came on after something I actually care about. So
Right.
yeah, it's a weirder time for things, and I do miss it in that it was a lot more simple and a lot more easy to understand, how that stuff worked and how, you know, things converted, I guess, to use a more of a new term. Um Now it's like, I don't know, people find out about us right now. We're having like a big resurgence with some of our old stuff. Like, I guess people on TikTok are like loving the old music and now they're coming to our shows, which is awesome, and I love that. But it is a lot more difficult and it feels a lot more random,
Yeah.
than it used to.
All right. Jessica, do you have any
Yeah,
burning
I wanted
questions?
to, now that we're talking about like nostalgia and stuff and how different like today is versus like when you guys started, 25 years ago, is there something that you remember, if anything, from like one of the first shows you played or one of the first tours y'all were ever on?
Oh, I have I have 25 years of memories, and what's really interesting is the memory is a strange thing in how it works. Like I couldn't really tell you what happened, like 3 weeks ago, but 23 years ago, I'll tell you every detail. I'll tell you like what I had for lunch, when we played at Emos with From On to Ashes, like I I remember all these things so well, and I think, thinking, because we're talking about Austin and stuff, I think I remember the first time we played at Emos and I had heard of it. In fact, my girlfriend at the time's older sister, she was in a band that had toured, and actually she's now in the Eagles of Death Metal. So she's
Dang.
kind of a yeah, she's kind
Cool.
of a big deal. Um, she brought me a Emo's toque. Sorry, beanie. We
Yeah.
call them toques in Canada. Yeah, an Emo's beanie, which I still have. So it's like really funny to think that I had that beanie, and I was like Oh, are you like I'm like emo? That's so weird because the term at the time was quite like new.
Uh-huh.
Like people think that emos has to do with emo music. It has nothing to do with emo music, right?
Right.
So so yeah, so I remember going there for the first time and being like, wow, this like place is legendary. And we walk in and we're like, I'm like, what? This is it?
Yeah.
Because the old emos, and I mean, we had some great, don't get me wrong, we had some great times there. But I mean, like, I wouldn't recommend using the bathroom, for
No.
example. And like, I remember Billy, he's a big guy, our bass player, and he like there's a giant pole in the stage, like right where he's supposed to stand.
Yeah.
So he played the whole show like standing behind a pole on stage, and like it left something to be desired. But um, I still remember the first time we were there, and just people coming in like packing the place, and just like going out after for drinks on yeah whatever road that is there, and
Yeah, it was
man,
on 6th and Red
the
River
hot
is where
sauce
it was.
shop. I'd never seen a hot sauce shop before. Tears of
Yep.
Yep.
Joy.
That's
That
gone
place was
now. RIP.
cool. I know it's gone now, but I remember. And I just remember that the whole like kind of community, and we met so many friends back then that we're still friends with to this day. And yeah, it's funny. I can still remember just about everything that happened those first couple times um at emos there. Um and I'll never forget.
Awesome. Well, we've got like 4.5 minutes left because I don't pay for Zoom. So, um,
All
I
good.
thank you so much for hanging out with us today. It's been a pleasure, truly.
Yeah,
I'm very, glad that you took time out of your day off to do this. So thank you so much.
of
Um,
course. Yeah, thank you for having me. Thanks for letting people know about my music and about our show coming up in just like a couple weeks, I guess.
yeah,
And
it's on the 10th.
yeah, it's really great to be back in Austin and our favorite city in Texas. So, yeah, can't wait.
Awesome.